Welcome to the Oddity Shop, where the bizarre is always on sale.
Hey, welcome in, you oddballs. This is the Oddity Shop. I'm Kara. This is the wonderful Zach in his cute little Hawaiian shirt.
Feeling all festive today.
For what?
I'm just trying to hold on to the fact that summer is still here.
Well, now it's fall when they're listening.
It's already getting dark at like 8:30. It's 55 in the morning. Ooh.
Yikes. But yeah, this is the Oddity Shop where we tell you creepy tales, legends, mysteries, murders, hauntings, cryptids, aliens.
Keep going. It's okay.
I don't know.
You didn't hit what we're talking about today, but we got a good one.
Conspiracies.
Nope. It's okay. We're going to go into it. What the hell is new with you?
Well, I should have just told you my dream on here, but I had just like really weird dreams and I was a vampire. So, and then you went on about a story about how you bit a dog because you thought that's how it made you a vampire.
That's what my sister told me. Or the person who was...
The poor dog did nothing.
My foster sister told me that I had to bite the dog to turn into a vampire. And then I asked her if the fuzzy feeling in the back of my throat was me turning into a vampire, and it turns out it was just dog hair. I was like 5, okay?
Okay, moving on. Vampires.
Anything else new and exciting? Are we just thinking vampires now? You know, there's one thing we never talked about that happened a while ago, and we'll keep it really quick. Whatever happened to this guy who broke the news that aliens exist, like, at this congressional hearing?
Oh, I don't know. I think we need to do, like, maybe a live or something where we touch on this kind of stuff, because...
I know. I need to do a deep dive on it, because...
We're not current when we talk about these things.
Right. It also happened while I was camping and I didn't have service. So when I got back into service, I had like 10 text messages of like, did you hear? I'm like, no, I have no idea.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't really look into it because I was like, whatever. I figured you would tell me all about it. But did you also, the unhinged lady on the plane also made a statement and came out? I didn't watch it all.
So her statement though is like, she apologizes. It's the woman on the plane who's like freaking out saying this MFer isn't real and like lost it. But even like, so now the weird thing to me is, and I don't know, maybe if she had like a failed cease and desist, because her apology came out right when all these other videos came out of her in the airport, like saying like, you're going to believe me when the plane blows up. She was wacky, as you would say, a little wackadoo. But
it was so believable to me that I was like, oh my God. Anyway.
I bet you she was sitting next to an 8-story tall sea creature who just needed tree fitty.
Do you have a question for me?
I do have a question for you. I'll stop quoting old ass South Park. What is love?
Got to do with what is love?
I was really expecting "Baby Don't Hurt Me," not "Got to Do."
Baby don't hurt me. Chemicals in your brain making you act wackadoo.
So how do you win with it?
I don't think you do.
Do you know where we're going yet?
I don't think so. Should I?
I'm gonna read you an article title. 7 arrested after police find mummified body in Colorado home. The first line of the article: a man told the police the body belonged to the leader of Love Has Won, a group that former members have called a cult, centered around a woman named Amy Carlson.
I don't really know anything about this.
Ooh, all right. So what I was referring to earlier that you didn't touch on, we are doing a cult story, baby.
I should have known.
Love Has Won cult.
Thank God, because we definitely need a cult, but cults are they're tough.
It's tough. There's a lot of information. I'm going to keep this episode as short as possible, but let's be honest.
No,
it's
you're not.
Going to be
okay,
a short
let's
one.
go.
All right. Our story starts off with Amy Carlson as a child. She was born on November 30th, 1975 in Dallas, Texas. According to her family, she was a pretty normal child, did well at school, was a straight A student, and was just like a happy, pretty little child. She had a fairly normal life.
Happy, pretty little child.
Well, like, you know, it's one of those things where whenever people like have a like fucked up adulthood, they're like, oh, she was so pretty. She lit up the room when she walked in.
That's really frustrating. But
I've never seen anybody light up a room. Anyways,
excuse you.
Yeah, take another step. So
I light up the room.
Anyways, Amy.
I darken it.
Amy lived a pretty normal life until she reaches her early 30s. So this is around the early 2000s, and her family starts to notice a change in her.
Oh.
At this point, she's on her third marriage. She had at least one kid with each baby daddy.
Oh.
I mean, I guess not a baby daddy.
Did you say she was
married.
30 or she was in her 30s?
She's like in her early 30s. Okay. So third marriage, she has a kid with this guy. She's working at McDonald's. She's a manager, but then she starts to dip her toes into New Age philosophy, which is a phrase I've heard a lot, and I have no idea what it really means. So I've tried to Google it.
I'm not going to. Yeah.
One scholar says it's an eclectic hodgepodge of beliefs, practices, and ways of life.
Okay.
Further, most
I still don't understand.
in the group seem to think that there's a divine source from which all things originate. People who subscribe to New Age beliefs usually say there's hints of many different religious views, vague ideas of God, and then it pulls in like astrology, numerology, the occult, and it helps to make sense.
All right, so I kind of like the first one, the hodgepodge of that actually makes sense now that you explain that. Okay, I like that hodgepodge.
Okay, so as she gets deeper into this, though, her parents and friends say she becomes a little bit more isolated. She's not very warm with her children, although apparently she wasn't from day one. And one day she just gets up, leaves her job, leaves her family and kids, and walks away from all of them.
This sounds vaguely familiar, but I also feel like that happens a lot. So
right. Well, this is after she met a man in one of her New Age group. God. This group was called lightworkers.org. His name is Amarith. That's one word. And then his last name.
Is that his actual name?
I don't think so, because his last name is also one word, White Eagle.
No, that's his made up name. Amarith White Eagle? It's kind of legit, though.
Hold on. White Eagle claims to be the reincarnation of Father God. So him and Amy get close. He ends up convincing her that she is not only also divine, but that she is the reincarnation of Mother God herself.
Okay, I might know this, but also this just sounds like every cult.
Right. Yeah, no, it follows a very similar pattern.
Oh, I hate this already.
So you always hate it. So 2007, though, Amy decides to pursue her new identity of being divine. So this is when she quits her job, leaves her kids, and just never talks to her family and friends again.
Well, I guess her kids are probably happy about that.
Yeah, well.
No.
So she moves to Colorado to be with White Eagle, and they create a group of like-minded individuals, and they called their group the Galactic Federation of Light.
Again, like we said in multiple episodes, how do these people find each other?
Lightworkers.org, apparently.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yes.
Oh, God.
So the Galactic Federation of Light is created by Amy and White Eagle. They moved to an area called Crestone, which is an area of Colorado where it kind of attracts a lot of hippies and Buddhists and those looking for truth and spiritual growth and, evolution. I'm sure it's a bunch of hippies in the woods in the fields of Colorado smoking weed. Anyways, to get more people to join the Galactic Federation, they create YouTube videos where they would talk about things like ascension, reaching different levels of consciousness, and of course spaceships, because they're the Galactic Federation.
Of course.
It seems that their beliefs put them in a mindset that most people live in the third dimension, right? 3D. They call it 3D life. But being that they're Mother and Father God, they had divine insight into the fifth dimension. And they knew how to get others to this higher state of life. I don't know what happened to the fourth dimension, but they're going right to the fifth.
Well, yeah, because they're higher than everybody.
Right. So people who are in the Federation stated that Amy would say and do crazy shit all the time, and that her and White Eagle had basically created a hippie commune focused on sex, drugs, and having fun. And spaceships.
Sounds like a really great time, actually.
But this life wasn't enough for Amy, as fun as it was. So she once again leaves her current partner, leaves White Eagle / Father God reincarnated behind.
Okay, so this was in 2007 that she left her family to be in this. What year are we
2014.
Now? Okay, so she...
7 years. That's, this is husband... Well, they weren't really married, but, partner number 4. So 7 years is... He did good.
Did he?
I mean...
Oh, God.
They made a Galactic Federation as Father and Mother God together. they had something real.
How can Mother God just leave Father God?
Well, she doesn't like the Galactic Federation of Light too much, and she thinks that some of Father God's ideas don't really align with her own. So in 2018, she moves to Moffat, Colorado, which I think is like
Moffat?
Yeah, Moffat, Moffat. I don't know. It's like a county.
Oh, well, I grew up on Muffet, but it's Muffatt. That's what I was just asking.
No. Okay. Prior to moving here and when she was with White Eagle, she had started doing those YouTube videos to like tell her wacky stories and attract more people.
Are they still up?
People are still making them. We're going to say it that way. But between 2017 when she leaves him in 2018, she's still doing this, but she's moved to Oregon, Cali, Utah, and then back to Moffat in Colorado, all making these videos trying to attract more people. Now, she moves to Colorado with this group of people, but this area is like Buddhist Native American tribes, sacred grounds. It's like considered. It sounds like there's almost like some sort of like holistic HOA, right? Who controls the areas and like who can buy and live there and whatnot. So I'm sorry. I just want to what is she doing for money? Do we know? Hold.
Like how is she? Okay.
Hold.
Do you feel the most powerful and beautiful with the elements of the earth around you? Do you like one-of-a-kind jewelry? Do you sometimes feel like a woodland fairy? Me too. That's why I created Holly and Hemlock, a magical shop filled with handmade wooden jewelry and metaphysical tools. Come check out our enchanting wooden wares at www.hollyhemlock.com and join us in honoring the magic and beauty of nature with each unique creation. That's www.hollyhemlock.com.
So the powers that be, though, wouldn't let her just move in and set up shop here. So she makes a new recruit. His name is Miguel Lamboy, which the group also thought he was the reincarnation of the Archangel Michael. But he serves as the logistic and finance guy of the group. So to set up shop in Moffat, he purchases a home so they have a permanent residence. They changed the name of the group from Galactic Federation of Light to Love Has Won because it fits more with.
Okay, so she was still taking that name with her.
Oh, yeah. No, she but it slowly morphed into her own thing.
Got you.
So Lamboy then sets up an LLC for Love Has Won. He puts himself as the president. They set it up as a 501c3 nonprofit for the special tax status. And make it like a seemingly legit operation. Around the same time, she also meets a man named Jason Castillo, who becomes the next Father God. He's the new reincarnation of it. White Eagle, not the real Father God.
And Lamboy is just doing
Lamboy is Archangel Michael.
Oh, yeah.
And finance.
And finance.
Yes.
Okay.
It's with Castillo, though, that the cult is truly born. Let's talk about what is Love Has Won? What is the purpose?
Please tell me. I need to know.
They set out to do a few things, though. But to understand it, we have to get into some of Amy's claims.
God.
She is not only Mother God, who's been reincarnated over 500 times and is 19 billion years old. She also claimed to have been Cleopatra, Joan of Arc, Jesus Christ, and Marilyn Monroe.
I mean, I think I'm Cleopatra, but I'm not telling people that. Well, I just told you all that, but
she also claimed that she had access to all these people's memories, because she's the divine mother of God and she gave birth to all of creation.
Ooh.
So her life mission is to lead exactly 144,000 people to ascend to the fifth dimension to live in a state of peace and love and a higher consciousness.
I'm not mad at that.
So the only way to do it, though, is through ascending and having a full evolution of your consciousness.
Is this where we start starving everybody?
Not quite yet. But does that number 144,000 mean anything to you? There's 3 other religions that I think Mormons are one of them that think that there's only going to be 144,000 saved people. So the whole...
Why?
I don't know. But that whole, like, you can
Okay.
see where there's new age thinking is kind of like bleeding out into her, her mission. Anyway, so we mentioned earlier that she believes that people live in the 3D world and there was a fifth dimension. So that's where the higher consciousness was, and you could only get there if you were one of those specifically selected by Mother God, 144,000 people. But by doing this was her way to save humanity.
Okay.
Now, in order to recruit 144,000 people, we had to have some pretty good methods to do this, right? So what does she do first? Amy and Castillo hand-selected and on rotation, because they kept leaving, around 12 to 20 people who already kind of followed them from the Federation to the new group. But these were going to be part of her inner circle who lived in the home with her, purchased by Lamboy.
20 people?
12 to 20.
How big is this home?
It's like a ranch kind of thing, but like if you see pictures of it, it looks like one of those things where they were just kind of like slapping some boards together and adding on to it. You know, it's like it sort of looks commune-y. I mean, it's a cult house. You know what it looks like.
Yeah, I was just curious on how big it actually was, but okay. Yikes.
This inner circle would tend to Amy's every need, while also helping create YouTube videos and live streams, talking about how Mother God was amazing, full of light and love, and would save those who pledged themselves to follow her. Okay, these videos, it's usually like two people sitting next to each other with this giant banner of Amy in the background, and they're wearing like rainbow makeup. It's very over the top, and they love Amy. Okay, so we've got the inner circle. That's not going to do it right there. So we had to get more people. You good?
No.
All right. So we got to recruit more people, right? So somehow people were buying this message that Amy would somehow save them. Maybe it was because she mixed different religions together. Maybe it's the higher level of consciousness. But that's not the fastest way to do it. And this is where the live streams started to get more wild. How do you gain people? You prey on the vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
So her streamers and inner circle type group started to claim that Amy had the power to heal people from anything like the common cold all the way up to cancer. All the while, like I said, with the giant Amy banners like behind them.
That is losing me.
Sometimes she would be in the stream, and the whole like they're getting like crazier with the makeup and everything's light and cheery, and they're like, it just screams like the shiny happy people culty shit. Okay. Now, how, you might ask, did Amy heal these people?
I can't.
Ask.
I cannot ask. How did she? I said ask. How did she heal these people?
That would be through spiritual surgeries. Now, these were performed over the phone.
Okay, good, because I was like, this sounds disgusting.
Because Western medicine was wrong and doctors are actually making you more sick, and that you're not having a heart attack, your body just wants to go to the fifth dimension. But if you do a surgical or a spiritual surgery with her on the phone, she can make those ailments go away, but don't touch anything that's not organic.
For how long?
Forever.
So how?
You just only eat organic things. You only get your healing from Amy.
You said don't touch anything that's not organic.
Like
what do I do?
Anything that's not organic.
Okay. I'm like, what do you mean?
I know. Oh, but by the way, we've been lied to our whole lives saying that staring at the sun is bad for you, but that is the best way to get healed, is to stare directly into the sun. But the government doesn't want you to know that.
No.
Now, in case you couldn't afford these very expensive spiritual surgeries, where I'm sure they were...
how much was it?
I couldn't figure it out, but it was not cheap, because it was... If you couldn't afford that, then you could start to buy from her line of products. Natural, holistic products that would save you from your ailments.
Okay.
So now she's in a realm where she's recruiting people pretty quick, right? You've got your inner circle. You're preaching that Amy can save you.
Well,
and then you're
I was going to say they're preaching.
They're
Yeah.
specifically targeting people who are down on their luck or vulnerable. It's very similar to Teal Swan, if you ever got into her.
I don't know, but it's very disgusting.
It's disgusting. I mean, as she's preying on sick people to build a huge online following.
Well, and you know that, I know you don't have the price point, but obviously the stuff, they're charging it probably an astronomical amount of money because this is how they're surviving as their little cult and paying the bills and shit. So you know that shit's expensive.
Great segue, because our next section of this is called How Do We Get More Money?
More money, more problems.
So, of course, the surgeries, like I said, they're not cheap. They bring in a decent amount. But if Love Has Won was going to save 144,000 people, and Amy was going to realize her dreams of getting to the fucking White House, and also to fund her habits and also the crafting supplies of all the 12 to 20 people, they needed more money.
They craft?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they make those signs, rainbows,
banners.
Okay,
so remember the inner circle we talked about? These are the people who came to live at the ranch.
yeah.
One of the biggest ways to get into the inner circle was to make donations. And we're gonna use the term donation really loosely here, because like if you weren't just one of the people following online and buying things, like if you were in the group, you had to make some pretty hefty donations, and they were actually required without them saying it was required. So, for example, basically, if you came to the ranch with less than 20,000 in cash to just fork over, they would still let you come. They would still let you donate all the money you had, but they would say that your energy just wasn't right for the group, and you'd be turned away and basically kicked into the wilderness of Colorado. Because another part of joining the inner circle is you also had to pledge to give up your worldly possessions and your family and friends. Cult. I mean, it's right there.
I just had like a mild anxiety attack, so I just have to put this disclaimer. These people are still living, I'm sure, a lot of them, because it's not that long ago.
This is 2017.
So I know, but what my disclaimer is, if you've gotten out of this cult and you're listening to this somehow, or you know somebody that was in this, we're not making fun of that. We just don't understand it. We're just telling the story.
There's also, if you are one of those people, there's a ton of resources to help you get deprogrammed from this, and look into Sheena. They're one of the biggest one doing really, really good.
Okay. Sorry, I just had a mild anxiety attack thinking about
You're
that.
good.
Continue on.
Okay. If the donations aren't enough, so then we're going to get back to those health products, right? So they created a huge range of all these products that were peddled on the live streams, on the YouTube videos. The FCC?
FCC.
Who's the one who's like in charge of
FCC.
products?
What's the M&M?
Well, that's the FCC. They like...
Yeah, okay. The FDA?
Yes, thank you. The FDA basically even sends a cease and desist to them at one time, and they just kind of like change some things around.
Oh, I was going to ask, like, how are they making products?
Then they changed it to Gaia's Home Essentials is the name of the line. They use compounds that have been proven to give no medical benefit, but they made all the wild claims about how it would cure your cancer, your heart attacks, your cold. Once again, remember too, they're teaching these same people that Western medicine has it all wrong, and it's making you more sick, and that the government wants you
look into the
sick.
sun.
So yeah, look into the sun, or you took heavy doses of their most popular product, which contained colloidal silver. So colloidal silver is basically silver particles dissolved in a solution that, like, I think in like the 70s and 80s, people thought it had a lot of health benefits. The FDA came out in like 94 and said, don't take this.
No. How do you get this?
So now they're selling it not as medicine, but as a home essential. See the difference in the wording there?
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, where are they getting this? What was it?
Colloidal silver.
You don't know. Colloidal silver.
I know. You can still buy it. There's places like...
oh, okay.
That...
What do we use it for now?
I've heard it marketed still as health things. Like...
Oh, shit.
But it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. So it's honestly really dangerous. Ingesting too much of it can lead to organ damage, seizures, more than that. But it could, in high doses, it can turn your skin a grayish blue color.
Oh my God. This is like bringing me back to uranium.
Yeah.
Radium girls. Yep. My God. I'm like, what? Oh.
So, I mean, we have everything you need for the recipe for a cult, right? We got Amy as a higher power. She's the only one who can save humanity, and they're going to do it through ascension.
And we got social media now, at least some sort that we can promote more.
We've got the trust. We have a group of dedicated followers who give her like credence to her claims, and then they can help find others. We've created a distrust for your family, friends, government, and medicine. You like you just said, the social media to reach thousands upon thousands of millions of people, and then a line of products to help those who are suffering. So, I mean, yeah, you 100% you have a cult, and on the other hand, you have the most fucked up MLM scheme, multi-level marketing here, right? You have to recruit people to sell a shitty product to recruit more people to sell more shitty products.
Right, we're gonna get flack, hate, whatever for this, but MLMs are all cults. I don't give a shit which one. Name one to me right now, and it's a cult.
I mean, I live in Grand Rapids. Come on, Grand Rapids was built on the biggest MLM of all time that's still going strong. Amway? How do you think the DeVosses get their money?
You mean Scamway?
Yeah, truly. So what are we missing in the timeline that just really skyrocketed these people? 2020, baby.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this is like so very recent.
They started this in 2018. Is when Love Has Won.
Oh, I was caught up on 2014, but that's just when she left.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Then they traveled. Then they moved to Colorado. So now, 2 years in, you have a global pandemic. You already have a general distrust of our government and doctors. You have people who can spend all their time online and people who are suffering.
Oh, how did I not know about this?
It's wild. I mean, it gets even crazier. So...
Oh, yikes. Okay.
Let's get into what was going on behind the scenes. All right.
Okay.
So we've talked a lot about Amy / Mother God, that she was the only one who could save everyone. We've mentioned that she was fully organic, and that's why she's so healthy. Also, she was Jesus Christ and
Marilyn Monroe, Cleopatra,
right.
Somebody else.
She also believed that not only to be saved did you have to donate all your money, but you also had to work really, really hard. And now we have the recipe for manipulation. So the inner circle, here's some of their rules. They could only call Amy mother. They were only allowed to sleep for 5 hours a night because they needed to work hard. They were banned from sitting down. Complaining was not allowed. You could only eat organic food and in very small amounts. You had to cut off all your family and friends. Okay? This is what every cult leader does. You have people who are exhausted, hungry, have no family, and this makes them super susceptible to anything she wants them to do. It makes people easy to control.
It does. And it sounds silly, but mother is a term of, I guess you could say, endearment. I'm not going to be able to articulate what I'm thinking, but like trust, like that.
The nurturing, the feminine energy of.
Even though it sounds crazy, when you're speaking it out loud, like we talk about a lot, anything you speak into existence, it makes you feel a type of way, it manifests, right? So she's making you call her mother for a certain reason. It is to have all of those feelings that you think with that, you associate with that word.
Yes.
To feel about her.
Oh, yeah. And she knew what she was doing.
Absolutely. That's disgusting.
Those are the claims and the rules. So what was happening in the house? Mother was in a lot of pain. She was also very organic. And you know what else is organic? Fermented potatoes.
What is happening?
Amy had a huge drinking problem and would become emotionally abusive when she drank. So one of the former members of Love Has Won said that she would fill a highball glass with vodka, spritz water on the top of it, and then drink 8 to 9 of those per night, every single night.
Oh.
When she would drink, she would scream at the other members that they weren't working hard enough. I saw one video where she's laying in bed, okay? She's recording it, and she's yelling at this guy. Why did you bring me motherfucking meatballs? I asked for chicken parmesan. I like meatballs, but it's not what I wanted, you motherfucker. Okay. Remember, this is Jesus Christ, the reincarnation. This woman had a mouth, dude. Like.
Okay, I'm just trying to wrap. Is vodka organic?
Apparently to her it is. It's fermented potatoes, okay? She could drink all the vodka she wanted. Now, nobody else was allowed to drink, though.
Oh, well, of course. Because then you won't work
So
hard.
she can be heard in the background of some of the live streams and videos and like just MF or this and F that. And she's just, it's insanity that people still followed her. So another member was quoted saying she would become someone else. She would become angry, talk smack, and be bitter, just cursing and yelling.
I mean, I understand that we're brainwashed, but I'm like, okay, well, how is she going to lead anybody anywhere? She's a fucking drunk. And she can't be working that hard because she's a fucking drunk.
And these people are tending to her. They're bringing her food. They're bringing her the drinks. They're doing everything. She's the birth of creation. She's going to lead them to the fifth dimension.
Yeah, you're right.
Why does Jesus Christ need to lift a finger?
Yeah, she shouldn't have to work. You're right. You're right. I'm wrong.
If people started getting ideas that this was wrong and they started getting out of line, well, she would send in Father God. Remember Castillo?
Oh,
yeah, he was basically in charge of discipline through vague threats.
Okay.
One video I saw where he got like leaned in really close to a guy's face and said if he didn't continue to work hard, that he would likely become a paraplegic. But the way it's said is insinuating you'll be made a paraplegic.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to wrap your head around how people get stuck into these like cycles of abuse and control.
I was saying this is why we don't like cults. Well, nobody likes cults. No. But we just don't understand it. And that's why I had to put that disclaimer. And I'm sure you'll give us more information later, but it's just because it's like it's so hard for us to be talking about this and like, how? What do you mean? Like, how did you think this is okay? Like, oh my God, it's so frustrating.
Oh, I think you're only going to get more frustrated. Okay. So in 2021, Amy starts to show some signs that her health might actually not be as great as she had stated.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is her liver failing?
Well, not quite. So the inner circle notice this among themselves, but in the live streams, they just pretend like everything's fine. They still have Amy in there every once in a while. In a very, very, very quick amount of time, she loses a ton of weight. It looked to like watchers of the videos that it almost appeared as if she couldn't walk anymore.
Oh, wow.
And her skin starts to turn a weird grayish blue color. Colloidal silver, anyone? So like I said, they ignored it at first, continued on as if everything was normal. But then when they realized like they couldn't just pretend anymore, Amy makes yet another claim.
Oh my God.
She was suffering from fifth dimensional cancer.
Okay, what is fifth dimensional cancer, Zach?
I think honestly, stage 4 is like the last one for most people. She just had to be a little bit better than everyone else. So she had stage 5 or 5D cancer.
Okay, but I thought she healed cancer.
Yeah, well, she could in the 3D world.
Oh, but because she's in the fifth dimension. Okay, all right.
She needed a sixth dimensional. Jesus Christ. Sorry, that was sarcasm.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what?
So in one of her videos, one of the followers is talking about her declining health. They even in the video claim that Amy had been begging them to take her to a hospital, but they had to say no because they had signed papers when they first joined the group that they would never take her to a 3D hospital and that this was a test from their divine leader.
Oh,
so literally, here's a
like this bitch is dying.
Here's a direct
and
quote from the video. There's been moments when mom's asked us to take her to a community hospital. Nope, there's no way. We know how a spiritual hijacking works.
Oh,
however, you know what does work?
I don't like that.
You know what does work? Giving her more colloidal silver, giving her more vodka. And not any real treatment. I bet you they put her in front of the sun quite a bit, too.
I bet you she wasn't even really eating.
Yeah, we'll get there. So, a lot of the followers of the live streams actually start to call the police around this point to do wellness checks, but they're always turned away by the group members. Until finally shit hits the fan. Now, I want to keep this short for purposes of time, right? There's a whole lot more that happens because they're still in the house in Denver at this time. They do go to Hawaii, but they get kicked out.
She goes too?
Yeah, but they get kicked out of Hawaii during the pandemic for some sort of spiritual protest or something. There's so much more that I couldn't even get into.
But this was before she was sick?
This was while she was sick. So they go on the road. They end up in California. And then from California on, people aren't really sure what happened.
Okay.
But in April of 2021, remember Lamboy, Archangel Michael, who owns the house?
Finances.
Yes. So he had been gone for a while from the house. He's not with the group really, but he comes back and they're all back in his house in Colorado. And what he sees makes him immediately call the police. Remember that article we talked about at the very start of this?
Yeah.
I'm gonna read you a little bit more.
Okay.
The police in Colorado arrested 7 people last week after finding a body believed to be the leader of a controversial religious group who was mummified, wrapped in Christmas lights, and set up as some type of shrine, according to an arrest affidavit. The body was found in a home in Sagosh County after the police received a call about a dead woman on April 28th. The affidavit described her as the leader of the group Love Has Won, which former members and critics have called a cult centered around the teachings of Amy Carlson. In the call to the police, a man identified as Miguel Lamboy and described as a member of the group said that he had found the body upon arriving at his home, where several people had been staying in his absence. He identified the dead woman as Amy Carlson, aged 45.
Oh, my God.
The county coroner, Tom Perrin, said on Wednesday that the body had not yet been identified and the cause of death was unknown. Amy Carlson is reported to have had cancer, as she talked about on Dr. Phil's show last year, and said she was paralyzed.
Wait, she was on Dr. Phil?
Oh, yeah. Miss Carlson is believed to be the leader of Love Has Won and goes by the name Mother God. Her group has repeatedly drawn opposition from neighbors and relatives of its members, some who allege abusive practices. Mr. Lamboy told the Colorado authorities that the body was clearly dead because its eyes were missing. He said he tried to take his son and leave the house, who had been there with the group members, but other members of the group stopped him. That's when he called the police. The police executed a search warrant to check on the welfare of his son and to search for the dead person. At the house, they found mummified remains lying on a bed and wrapped in what appeared to be a green sleeping bag. There was glitter-type makeup on and around her eyes and face, and the body was decorated with Christmas lights, creating the effect of some type of shrine. She even wore a crown.
Oh, my God.
Sheriff's deputies found 7 adults and 2 children, ages 2 to 13. And the adults were arrested on the charges of abuse of a corpse and child abuse. They were also charged with moving the body across state lines because it appears she died in California.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So when she passed, they decided they needed to bring her back to the holy ground of Colorado because she had finally ascended. And they kept her body mummified in the shrine for more than 4 fucking weeks before Lamboy called the cops.
How old was his son? Do you know?
Well, it says there were 2 children, ages 2 and 13. So either 2 or 13.
Oh, it was only 2 kids? I thought you said
7 adults, 2 children.
Oh, 7 adults. Okay. Oh my God.
The members of the group had claimed that she didn't die, that she had just simply ascended to a higher level of consciousness and had no need for her human body anymore. And that obviously her teachings all still stand. Now, doctors finally do determine the cause of her death. It took them a long time to not only identify the body because she has no medical or dental records, and 4 weeks of being mummified, kind of hard to get a fingerprint. But they did determine that she died from a mixture of anorexia, substance abuse, opioid abuse, and super high levels of colloidal silver. She died at 45 years old and weighed 75 pounds.
Oh.
She wasted away. Basically, alcohol abuse, the colloidal silver, everything else, her body just wasted. Here's the thing I can't find any information on. All 7 of those adults who were arrested all had all charges dropped. I could not find anything of why.
Well,
they do quickly rebrand after her death and change the name of the group to 5D, Full Disclosure.
Oh, we're still doing this.
Yes, and there's actually a couple other spiritual groups. So they still preach Amy's teachings, and that Mother God will come back to save them. They
Oh, this is not how I thought this was going to go.
Still teach Ascension. They've kind of got wrapped into some QAnon theory in on it too, which, I mean, you could see how they got there. Now, it is still alive. It is still going. Obviously, this was only 2 years ago that she passed. But I think a lot of it is it's hard for those people who are so programmed to face that the reality was anything but what it was.
I guess I thought you were going to tell me that maybe their charges were dropped because it's like brainwashing, psychological, like they're not capable.
I mean, that probably is something to do with it.
But if they're still in this group,
a lot of people did get out, and a lot of the followers, it's dropped off a lot. But like I said, there's groups like Sheena and a couple others who are doing a lot of work with the families and those who have left this long road of recovery and deprogramming, basically. But there's still way too many people in this group who are alive and well and still saying Amy did nothing wrong, and they're still preying on vulnerable and suffering human beings. That's the story of Love Has Won. I don't think love did win in this case, and honestly, at no point in this story did I actually see any semblance of what you could call love. I mean, it's truly just disgusting. I
mean, I know we're already like 50 minutes in, but I feel like we do have to like chat a bit.
Yes.
It's very hard for me to listen to stuff like this because like we just kind of touched about not that long ago, it's like it's hard for us to wrap our brain around how somebody could get sucked up into this kind of stuff.
Right.
But when you think about it in a smaller scale of stuff and like influencers, right? Mm-hmm. We're influenced by so much. So we might like an influencer. And so, yeah, whatever they say and they recommend, we're going to buy that shirt. We're going to buy this product. We're going to drink what they drink, blah, blah, blah. It's a smaller scale. But when you think of it that way, I think it's easier for you to put yourself in these types of situations in these people's shoes, right? So now add to the fact that like we're maybe depressed, we're vulnerable, we don't have family, we don't have this, like whatever it is. And then you somehow get sucked into it's the same as all the social media people that we like, right? I'm trying to make it make sense and to try to make people understand and like relate it smaller. So I think that's like the only way that I can articulate it is like look at the influencers.
Think about like
that you
your
love.
Favorite band, right? Like what you would go through to get to one of their shows.
The Used.
Yeah, seriously though, I mean, like
spend a lot of money.
There's a Streetlight Manifesto. I've gone and seen them 12 times, and I've gone through a bunch of shit that I wouldn't have even ever dealt with just to see them.
Swifties wear diapers so that they don't miss a second of her 3-hour performance. So yes, perfect example.
We're kind of already programmed as human beings to like have people you look up to, right? But then you take, this perfect storm is they're looking for people who are at a low point in their life, and then you have a global pandemic that happened. And this is after you've sucked. Remember that core group came from the Galactic Federation. These were people who are all having sex, drugs, drinking, and having fun together. They've already built these bonds and have that trust. So it's like you can see how is the perfect storm of snowballing from there.
Well, and I'm wondering now if it's like if she left that because it wasn't as like maybe she probably didn't have like the power or the control that she was looking for.
I think that's why she left White Eagle.
Yeah, it was probably more of a party and like a friend group more than anything.
And I mean, she's textbook narcissist.
Yes.
I mean, she literally thinks she's Jesus Christ.
I think this is one of the good scenarios that like your mom left you. Like, I'm glad your mom left.
Yeah, like her children. Yeah.
Yeah, like, holy shit. Like, this is great.
I guess her family, I don't know if her kids were, but her family were like on that episode of Dr. Phil, because they were like, she was a normal kid.
How did she get to I'm confused as how we thought.
She had thousands and thousands of followers. I mean, she was making tons of money. She was very, very popular.
I mean, I know, but it just seems like crazy that you'd go on Dr. Phil.
I think part of this is perfect for Dr. Phil. Come on.
No, I know it is, but do you get what I'm saying? Like, to me as an outsider, we would be like,
why would Jesus drink 9 highballs of whiskey or vodka?
Right. And like, why are we on Dr. Phil? This is everything we don't believe in. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's wild. I mean, look up on YouTube or wherever you can see some of the live streams. You can see some of her freakouts. It's just.
Yeah, you guys do that. I'm not going to. I want to sleep tonight.
It's still very sad.
No, it's horrifying.
I think one of the most horrifying parts to me was she did such a good job at the control aspect of this, that even when she realized she was dying and was begging for people to take her to a hospital, her own medicine turned on her, or not medicine, I guess, but her own practice turned on her, and they wouldn't take her because they knew it was a test and that mother needed to ascend. I mean, that's so sad. I will never understand brainwashing, truly. Like, I do get it. And like I tried to give you guys like a more relatable breakdown, but I won't actually ever get it. It's so wild to me. This has been just under an hour where we've gone through from 1975 to 2021. None of this happened overnight. She had to do this slowly over years and years and years, you know? And you just, that 1% more every day. Ugh. All right. Well, that's the story of the Love Has Won cult with their mummified leader. Yeah. How are you feeling? Unhinged. Do you have anything light we could kind of end it on? I'm trying to think of something because that was so rough. What are you looking forward to? Do you have any trips you're looking forward to? Oh my God, no. This is not trips I'm looking forward to, but I recently went to UP. We talked about this in like, I don't even know how many episodes, but I can't believe I didn't share this with you because I think this is so, well, with you, but I think this is so fucking funny. Our first day of our little road trip or whatever, first day or second day? First like real day, okay. I think. No, first day. We stop at a restaurant, we get food, and I like blah, blah eating. It's like a Tex-Mex type restaurant, whatever. And I think that the ranch crema, whatever dressing they use, I think it was bad. Oh no. Because your girl was not okay the rest of the day. And we were going on hikes and waterfalls. And so if I post pictures, just know I was dying. And I got to the hotel. We didn't even go out to dinner that night because I was not okay. Like, Aaron had to go and get pizza and stuff. I broke the fucking toilet in the hotel. Oh my God. I texted you because you were like, remember, I know, but like you were like, are you having fun? And I was like, no, not okay. I broke the fucking hotel toilet, right? So Aaron had to go and be like, hey, the toilet's overflowing. Because it flushed, but then it started overflowing. Oh, no. Like, it literally just needed a plunger. There wasn't a plunger. So he goes onto the front desk and he's like, yeah, the toilet, I don't know what's going on. And we literally had just gotten into the hotel. Right. So I literally got into the hotel, broke the toilet. So they're like, oh my God. So Aaron went to go get his food and the girl comes up and she's like, and it's like late. She's like, oh my God. She's like, I don't know what to do. She's like, yeah. And she opens like the tank thing and she's like, yeah, it's not going down. She's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She's like, okay, I have one room left. Oh, you got moved? Oh, I guess I didn't tell you this part. She's like, I have one room left. She's like, what I can do is I can move you there. The toilet seat is broke though. Of course. And it's not even broke. It was just like verbally. So it was getting repaired the next day, but the room was actually closed off for that reason. So I'm like, okay, because I didn't know what to do. Yeah. She's like, well, I just don't want you to flood throughout the night. I'm like, cool. So she is like, all right, so I'll give you this room. So this happened to be 2 beds, but it was less money than what we paid. And then they also gave us a discount because they didn't know I broke the toilet. They thought the toilet was broke. And then I got another broken toilet. I love that the way we ended this on a lighter note was you talking about food poisoning. That's how heavy that story was. And me breaking that toilet. Breaking it. Okay. All right. With that, goodbye. Love you. Do all the things that we always ask you to do. We got to wrap it up. And, most importantly, creep it real, Godballs. Goodbye. Bye.